السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Assalamu alaikum, dear Donna and others. Of course, our session today, not many attendees, but Allah brought you here, at least for me to start. So we have up to 9 sessions as of today. We are going to start with the 10th session. Today's brief outline, I was thinking, is to have a brief review of last lectures. And then we'll go through the achieving the lifting of the veil and developing sharp insights. That is the main goal of Futuwwa. So we'll focus briefly on that. And then we have a brief overview of observing moral balance. So in nature, how we look moral balance in nature. Of course, we are part of our nature, our self, how nafs-body works. And we briefly touch on it. And then, of course, we will discuss about reading the sign, learning to read the signs. And that is this sign is the Enneagram sign, and which is basically Wajhullah. So we'll briefly go through how we read signs and what is the focus in the Enneagram and how we use Enneagram for the soul work. So briefly, we discussed it in our past lectures, but today, as a part of this revision, we will briefly look into it. And then there is an option is, of course, attaining moral balance through nature and nurture. So, and second part is the nurture, where I will touch a bit deeper. So that is the main outline we wanted to cover. So as we discussed in the past, the goal of every mu'min or every traveler who are seeking the divine proximity or divine love, and basically using this tool, our job is to go to the zero, which is at the center, and to become a zero, a fair and just person. So no conflict, always peace and love. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, be those who stand firmly in justice. So that's what we are seeking, and we want to become. So you want to stand firmly in justice. That is the objective, replacing negative traits with positive traits. And where the negative traits come from? That's from our own actions. That's why I'm showing this verse, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ, and then كَلَّا بَلْ رَانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ مَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. Woe unto those who give short measure. So if you have a shop, you want to sell goods to people, and every item you have labeled there, that weight is 1 kilo, half kilo, and then price is marked up, but you have given little bit less than what you are showing that you are selling. So, but nobody will measure it, but Allah will know it. And there is of course, a story of Hazrat Umar when he went to see his community, and he heard a daughter arguing with her mother because of adding water into the milk. And of course, Umar was impressed, and later he wanted that daughter to be his son's wife. And as you know, that is the Abdullah ibn Umar's wife. And that's the justice we have to, of course, we are seeking. But the reason I am mentioning here is the word Rana. Rana ala kulubin. If we do those sort of bad things in our dealings with humanity, our heart become stained. And so this is why we need the soul work. Because the more heart is stained with our bad dealings, saying bad things, doing bad things, our heart cannot be stay in justice. So, and our heart shifts its position from center to the sideways. Anytime, instead of center anywhere here or here or here, if it comes, that's when we are not at peace, that we are not doing justice to our soul. So that is the main message on this one. That is the goal of the Futuwwa. That is the goal of the spiritual warrior. And I have looked into more part of it in Quranic verse. Here, Allah has given us, created us in this plane, sent us in this plane. We are in this dunya. So we have been given a geta. Geta is a cover, veil. So this verse tells us that there is a gata here. As a result, we don't see everything. But the day we die, Allah is saying that He will lift the veil, He'll remove it. So, لَقَدْ كُنْتَ فِي غَفْلَةٍ مِنْ هَذَا فَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ. We will be told, indeed, unmindful hast thou been in this day of judgment, but now we have lifted from thee thy veil, and sharp is thy sight today. So now this will happen, of course, day of judgment automatically. But one of the hidden message in this verse is this hadith, Prophet said that if you want to see basira, if you want to have your basira, to your insight to be sharpened, and if your gata will be lifted, then you have to do this act. Mutu qabla an tamutu. Die before you die. And now what does die before you die mean? Die before you die means voluntary return. We have to go. Kullu shayin ilahim marji'un. We will be all returning to Allah. And there is nothing which cannot return to Allah. So, but in this hadith, Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying we have to choose voluntary return. We can have two deaths. One is death of our ego, the voluntary death. Another is the compulsory death, which is, of course, we will be, destined to go. So how we can do voluntary return? If we can, of course, make our arrogant self die, the self which misguide us, the self which instigate us to do bad things. So death of early desires, death of negative traits, and birth of a new self with positive traits. So if we can create a birth of new self with positive traits by cleansing the stains in the heart, that's when this gheta will be lifted. That's when Allah's promise in this verse will be true. So that is the job of the Futuwwa. That is the goal of how to achieve the goal of Futuwwa. So that's why I quoted this verse. Kalla bal rana ala kulubihim ma kanu yaksibun. Whatever we are doing, that our deeds will create a stain in our heart if it is a bad deed. So that's why we needed to work on it. And another reason we have to work on it is this. In this verse also, Allah promised, "Wanahin nafsa anil hawa, final jannata hiyal mawa." Whoever is able to refrain his soul from passions, this passion is, of course, which draw us towards the pleasure, towards overdoing things. That's what we will focus on. What is over and under? When we get imbalance, our moral imbalance happens in our soul. How it happens? When we follow our passions too much towards something which is not good for us. Paradise is about if we are able to refrain or restrain. That's when paradise will be destined for us. And this is what I mentioned this verse. So, and the other way is, of course, we have to, yeah, when we get that first death, voluntary return, we need the body of light. That's why, of course, we have to seek it, seek the body of light. That's what this Prophet's prayer, the light prayer, Allahumma ja'al fi kulubina nuran, Allahumma ja'alli nuran. That light prayer, that dami nuran, lahmi nuran, shari nuran, bashari nuran, everything Rasul Pak mentioned in that prayer. So now we'll discuss briefly on the self-examination and how to read the sign. So in this particular understanding how to read the sign, Lale Bakhtiar in his book, this volume 2 we are reading, she mentioned that of course self-examination is the first we have to do. To do this, to do this, of course, self-examination is the one way. The inner examinations, because according to Allah's Quranic verse, in this surah number 41 and ayat 53, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "We shall show them our signs upon the horizon and within themselves until it is clear to them that it is the real, the truth. Hatta yatabayyana lahu annahu huwal haq." So that verse, Allah promised that He will show us signs inside and outside. So whenever we need it to know our hal, our condition, our state, He will show us the sign. As a result, of course, we needed to find the sign, we have to do self-examination. And of course, to know the sign inner, we need to understand, which we discussed in the past, how our nafs works. Nafs works according to Ibn Arabi. Of course, as we discussed in the past, when Ruh enters into the our mother's womb, spirit enters. That's when nafs is born, and nafs has all this component, which is part of our body and part of our mind. So Ibn Arabi is saying 8 organs expresses nafs: the eye, ear, tongue, hands, heart, stomach, private parts, and legs. So all this touch, taste, smell, seeing, and then feeling, all those are part of the nafs, and that is the outer dimension of nafs. And the inner dimension, which discussed about the imagination is one of the five inner sense. So which we covered in our last lecture. So I'm not going there, but when you're going to read the sign, we have to check our emotions. When are we have to check our emotions daily. Are we in a happy state, excited state, tender, loving, in that state, happy mood? Are we maintaining happy mood all the time? If we are maintaining happy mood all the time, that's very good, but not over happiness or over excited. And then of course the other mood we can see in our nafs, in our manifestation of in our body and all those organs as I mentioned, senses, the sadness, angriness, scaredness. Are we tense? Are we nervous? Are we anxious all the time? Are we frightened? Are we panic stricken? Are we terrified all the time? Are we miffed? Are we irritated? Are we resentful or down or grieved, heartbroken? Those sort of negative emotion which is manifesting through us. If those are some of the signs will manifest in us, then it will know that our soul is sick. And for that, we have to, of course, start working to understand, um, our own self, so that we know what to be doing. So I will just give a quotation from Ashab Sufa, the 10th century Sufis, the Brethren of Purity. They are saying to read the sign, you need to look at the nature. All that has by nature and with systematic method been arranged in the universe seems both in part and as a whole to have been determined and ordered in accordance with the number by the forethought and mind of Him. Him means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Him that created all things. For the pattern was fixed like a preliminary sketch by the domination of number pre-existing in the mind of the world creating God. Number conceptual only and immaterial in every way, so that with reference to it as an artistic plan should be created all these things, times, motion, the heavens, the stars, all sorts of revolution. So this is Brother and Purity saying, for to do the soul work, soul is influenced by outer and inner, our action, our reaction. So that is the one we have to, as a spiritual warrior, as a jihad warrior in the Jihad al Akbar, this greater struggle, we needed to look into outer, our environment as well. So that's what we have to watch. Another quotation is, the experiencing nature means coming to know the inner working of nature in a direct way. And this can only be done by the human being coming to know self. So if we know the self, of course, self is the microcosm, which is linked to macrocosm. And in Ibn Arabi's book, that Tadbiratul Ilahiyah, in that chapter 1, Ibn Arabi was telling that the Ruhul Kulli is the Ruhul Azam. Ruhul Azam is the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And so that Ruhul Kulli is connected to this Ruh of every individual. So in Ibn Arabi, in his book Tadbiratul Ilahiyah, he quoted various Sufis who are using various terminology to express the soul. So we will go into actually this diagram where we are representing the ruh with the dot, and then circle is the, of course, circumference, which is the boundary of the universe, boundary of a human being. So, and about this ruh, which is at the center, that is Ibn Arabi, of course, used various mustalaha or istalaha, a term to describe ruh. And in the last description, he's saying that it is the dot, center of the circle, the markazi daira. And he mentioned like this, the wa'abbara anhu ba'duhum be markazi daira. So that's where um, Lale Bakhtir mentioned that she took this description from Ibn Arabi's book. So he's saying that wisdom is hidden, but but of course, it is within the circle of the unseen. So whole universe, yeah, has the circle of unseen, and wisdom is hidden in that circle. For us also, we have a circle around us, and our, of course, we have a physical body. It has its skin is the surface, and then we have a subtle body because our own aura has a circle. So what I was mentioning, the dot, Ibn Arabi mentioned various terminology to describe this ruh. One of them is, he said, arsh. So of course, Ibn Arabi, instead of he himself mentioning all this terminology to describe ruh, he is saying Sufi, Ba'duhum saying it. Some of the Sufis saying it. So he said this ruh can be called, ruh is the rais, ruh is the, of course, master, ruh is the, um, yeah, imam, Imamul Mubin, and Ruh is the Ilmul Awwal, and Ruh is the Mirat al Haq and Hakika, and the mirror, and also he's saying Ruh is the Mufid. Mufid is the where faid comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Faidul Aqdas come to Faidul Muqaddas. So Ruh is the Faidul Muqaddas, which receives all the tajalli, all the blessings, all the mercy Allah is sending to all of us. So that's why, of course, we will be looking into these aspects. And I'll just to see this mirror, I'll quote Sufi poet Mahmud Shabistari, and this was quoted by um, Lale Bakhtar in his chapter 2 on this, which we are reading. He said that know the world is a mirror from head to foot. In every atom are 100 blazing suns. If you cleave the heart of one drop of water, 100 pure oceans emerge from it. If you examine closely each grain of sand, 1,000 atoms may be seen in it. In its members, a gnat is like an elephant. In its qualities, a drop of rain is like the Nile. The heart of the barley corn equals 100 harvests. A world dwells in the heart of a millet seed. In the wing of a gnat is the ocean of life. In the pupil of the eye, a heaven. What though the grain of the heart be small? It is a station for the Lord of both worlds to dwell therein. So that's what I wanted to, that is captured in this Enneagram, because that is the way we will be seeing and using the tool. And now I just show you, this is the line of spirit. This three, if in these three positions, the numbers are they are in a balanced state. And what actually Ali Bakhtiar said is this line in the circle is the line of spirit, because the line of spirit indicates that if you are on this line, you are balanced, your moral healing is perfect. But if you are outside this line, then you need moral healing. So how we'll examine it? Um, yeah, that's what we are going to discuss, of course, throughout our various lectures. So this particular one, she's been explaining that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these 6 numbers. If you divide by 7, it has come with some decimal number 142857 or 2857142 or 428571. So all these numbers which will be shown on the circle on this diagram, these numbers are those numbers which are coming 1 divided by 7, 2 divided by 7, 3 divided by 7. And why 7? Because 7 is the mother name which of course um, came with the soul when the Ruh came. So that's why the life giving the Ya Hay, Ya Qadiru, Ya Murido, Ya Samio, Ya Basiro, Ya Alimo, Ya Kalimo. All these 7 name is part of our basic as the infrastructure of our soul, architecture of our soul. So that's why that's 7. And then if you divide those numbers, 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, and those numbers will be put in here. And this balanced line is where those numbers, if you plot it in a 3-dimension, that's where that diagram looks like. And then these are the 3 things we will actually judge ourselves. 3 things: wisdom, courage, self-esteem, or temperance. Those are the 3 things we just see where we are at with respect to those. And where she got from, I just found um, a, a book, which, okay, I'll come back to it. So yeah, but these are the thing. Top of the circle is malakut, top, bottom of the circle is mulk. And that is also described by Ibn Arabi in that Tadbiratul Ilahiyya. And he mentioned, and also I showed the diagram of our self in our session 1. And so in there, yeah, you know, the International Psychology Association, Islamic Psychology Association, they had board a scholastic board of 12, no, 18 scholars currently available in the world from various part of the world. And they all studied last 1500 years of all the literature and psychology available. Based on that, they developed a model of the soul. And that was a PhD thesis of a scholar named Abdullah. Yeah, I circulated his paper in the past in our group. So anyway, in there also, he was showing Malakut and the Mulk in this kind of separation. So this is the diagram which gives us the perspective of our soul. And then if you look at here, I'm just first showing this corner. If you have over self-esteem, if you have overconfidence, if you have over temperance, then you will develop this kind of negative trait: lust, greed. There's a big list in this book. what sort of melodies will appear if you have over self-confidence, if you have more than what you need, or if you are become arrogant. That's when that part will appear. So there's a big list of um, what are the melodies will happen. And so overdevelopment will create, yeah, let me read the overdevelopment of temperance. One is this greedy, avaricious, covetous, debasement of aspirations, gluttonous, hoarding, impudent, loss of self-respect, lust, of course, which I am showing there, overbearing, prodigal, and self-indulgent, sexually harassed, shameless, status-seeking. All this kind of manifestation will happen in your soul if you have developed overconfidence or over self-esteem, over temperance. But of course, if you have no self-esteem, then it is undeveloped condition, then you will have envy. And if you have underdeveloped, if your soul is not developed, this self-esteem at all, then it's a big problem because you will have apathy. And as you know, apathy creates anxiety. Apathy is the sickness of the soul, which will cause you lose interest in doing anything. So main thing is if you are caught into that kind of undeveloped self-esteem, you will lose interest to do even read Quran, to do anything. You will not feel like doing anything. It's called soul sickness. You will not be able to yeah, feel doing anything, no himma, no nothing. And so that's why we needed to watch ourselves. What is causing us to feel lack of interest, lack of, um, you know, any enthusiasm to do anything, any good work. And then, of course, we'll discuss how to fix that. But that part we will discuss later. But at this stage, I'm focusing on this corner. If you have over self-esteem, what will happen? If you have under self-esteem, what will happen? And if you are undeveloped, what will happen? That is the part of this diagram is showing. And then we will show the other part. If you have the courage issue, if you have under courage, you will be cowardice. And there's a big list again. So we'll read it later. And then, of course, if you're undeveloped, then you will have fear of other than God. So if your courage is undeveloped, fear of other than God, that means you will think money will save you, not God. You will think your savings and bank balance will save you, not God. So that means we all have, a lot of us have this issue, undeveloped courage. And then the other one is if you have over courage, then you will develop anger, arrogance. That will happen. Yeah, so a lot of us become arrogant. A lot of us get angry quickly. That is because we have overdevelopment of courage, too much confidence. So that's we need to watch. Now we'll look into the next aspect. As you see there, our triangle had to adjust. If you look at again, look at this, you see the triangle has adjusted itself because this line has to touch in the corner of the this top wisdom, and this line has to touch this corner of the self-esteem. This line has to touch this corner of courage, because of various situation in our life, this inner triangle, which is the triangle of heart, it gets adjusted and things move. That's why I added this movement. You see there, this movement. You see here, now this arm is smaller, this arm is longer, and also this line is outside that corner. So this sort of things happen because some other part, either we don't have enough wisdom, or we have some situation here. Because of that, this balance has shifted. And the one I wanted to show here is, if we have over wisdom, then we develop hypocrisy. If we have too much knowledge, if we think we have too much knowledge, and then we become munafiq. We think we know everything. We think we know other than the people who are doing all this soul work. With so what they are doing, they are fool. Why they are doing? Because we will die and will become dust. What is the point of wasting all the time? Those sort of things. But basically, he is either he is underdeveloped, which is ignorance, or he has overconfidence or over wisdom. That's when he will show the sign of hypocrisy. So if you have over, the other manifestation will be deceitfulness, conjecture, contemptuous, cunning, doubtful, and foolish, and then liar, malicious, perplexed, shrewd, sly. Those kind of melody will develop in your soul. But if you are underdeveloped your wisdom, if you don't, you stop reading book, stop going and listening to ulama, then you will be, of course, ignorant, mistrustful, multi-theist, preconscious of reality, prejudiced, satanic temptation. So those sort of things will develop if you do not seek knowledge. If you do not seek knowledge and no search for the truth, then you will fall into this category, and all those sort of things will attack your heart and your soul will be sick. And then, of course, if you have undeveloped fully, you will be kafir completely, disbeliever. So you'll disbelieve Allah, you'll disbelieve uh, doing good, you will become Pharaoh or Netanyahu. So, so that's the brief idea of reading the sign. I didn't go into in depth of it, but I just wanted to show how the Enneagram give us sign of our soul, various melody, how it can show us the information. Now is the moral healing through nurturing, because the reason we are doing nature and nurture, this diagram is the one we are showing. As you see here, um, in the nature, if we sow seed and we take proper care before before sowing the seed, if we prepare the ground, and then if we water it, if we take the weed out of it, and seed definitely will give us a tree, and tree will give us a fruit. So that is nature telling us. Same way, if you want to ride the horse, you have to take care of the horse, feed the horse, train the horse, then it will serve you as a master. Money, you can become the master, and horse will serve you as a servant. And then dog, same, it will become a friend and helper if you take care of the dog and train it. Same with the self, our soul. So if you take care of a soul, if you train your soul, and if you work to eliminate all those stains I mentioned, then only you can do perfect soul, or you can become bring perfection, and which will give you that, as I said, lifting of the veil, and basira will increase. So this is why the aim, according to spiritual chivalry, is to discipline nature's mode of operation in us by becoming centered. So you know that zero, the center point of the circle, balanced in justice. When we can become balanced, that's when we can bring justice for our soul. When the self is thus motivated, it learns to read the signs of nature and nurtures guidelines as it moves toward this goal. Preservation of the self's natural inclination to balance begins in the home, where parents model how to preserve their natural balance by living a centered life themselves. So that's one of the idea. The other idea is methods of preserving natural state of moral balance include personal effort, endeavor, struggle, and appropriate self-training. So that's what we are doing by reading these books, by going through all these procedural aspects and becoming aware, self-aware. Once we know how to be self-aware, then we can do self-organize. One can do self-organizement, then of course you can self-manage. So self-management is what we are learning. So if the human being were capable of changing traits acquired through nurture, environment, there would have been no need for God to send prophets and his revelation to them. So this is what we needed to listen to this prophetic message. Make your disposition beautiful, because khulukun azim, khulukun hasanul khuluk, our prophet has been said he has the best of the nature, and that's what he wanted us also to have a beautiful dispositions. And to achieve that, we need to nurture our soul. We all know, yeah, which I mentioned. Now, even Miskawea, he is one of the 10th century Sufi who wrote a book called Tahjib al-Akhlaq. Yeah, I'll show you that book, and briefly I got it. If you can search it on the internet, you'll find a copy, but I couldn't find any English translation, but it's in Arabic. And if you look at the content of the book, you'll find that most of the Enneagram stuff and the things Lale Bukhtiyar has written are there. And in today's presentation, I have quoted him many times. Anyway, so first thing we have to do for nurturing is gaining knowledge. In order to center the self, cognitive remedies are recommended, like gaining knowledge, which is also considering to be religious obligation. Talabul ilma faridatun ala kulli muslimin wa muslimat. So that's what we are doing now. We are seeking knowledge, and this is what I am here for, so that I am seeking knowledge, and by giving knowledge, I get benefited. That's why I am in it. So this differs from conjecture, mere fancy. So seeking knowledge, um, of course, differs from conjecture and fancy. And I will mention those two words from Quranic example. And signs pointing to reality are detailed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that if you are looking to find me, I'm showing you signs everywhere and explain. So Quranic verse is confirming that if you are seeking the truth, truth is everywhere. And number one, you see about this fancy versus conjecture. It says, "Ma lahum bihi min ilm illa ittiba'azzan." They, they have no real knowledge thereof and following mere conjecture. This is about, a lot of Christian think that Jesus was crucified. Quranic verse saying that no, he was never crucified. It looks like that he was crucified. So people around who saw, um, they thought, means they assumed. So that's what Quran is saying. So this is why conjecture is bad. And instead of knowing the truth, we have to work for it. We do not just assume it. That's what Quran is saying. And also there's another verse which is a fancy or conjecture. It said, وَمَا يَتَّبِعْ أَكْثَرُهُمْ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ إِنَّ الظَّنَّ لَا يُغْنِي مِنَ الْحَقِّ شَيْئًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ alimun bima yaf'alun. For most of them follow nothing but conjecture. Behold, conjecture can never be a substitute for truth. Verily, God has full knowledge of all that you do. So this is what Allah is asking us to stay away from. We seek knowledge, but not live with conjecture. And then وهو الذي أنشأكم من نفس واحدة فمستقرة ومستودعة قد فصلنا الآيات لقوم يفقهون. And it is who has brought you all into being out of one living entity and has appointed for each of you a time limit on earth and a resting place after death. Clearly, indeed, have we spelled out these messages unto people who can grasp the truth. So beautiful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning. So, Mustawda is the place generally, where you store things, right? So, but here Allah is saying that this mustawdawa is the resting place after death. So that means we can store our knowledge, and that's what we can even take with us. So the more knowledge you have, you can store it and you can take there. That's what my reading of it. And of course, he's saying here that Allah has detailed sign. So we need to pursue knowledge so that we can become qawmin yafkahun. We can become qawmin yafkahun. So if we want to part of that qawm, gain knowledge, and that will help you to center yourself. You cannot, without the knowledge, you cannot center yourself. That is another way of interpreting this direction. The other Quranic verse is the parable of the life of this world is but that of rain which we send down from the sky. إنما مثل الحياة الدنيا كماء أنزلناه من السماء. And then over there in the verse, Allah subhanahu is saying that when that falls, of course, that rain make magic on this universe and in this earth, and everything grows, and people think that, oh, they are capable of producing fruit. They are capable of producing, everything. And even now that they are even flying with a plane and all these things, see that all human capability. But they forgot that everything comes from Allah. That is what um, we have failed to understand, and that's what this verse is referring us to. That, and then Allah is saying, كَذَلِكَ نُفَصِّلُ الْآيَاتِ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. So that fikir, to do fikir, is another thing you have to do to learn how to center yourself. You can't center yourself unless you become mufakkirin. So, and because you need to look for the ayat, because Allah gave all those ayat in His nature, even just like saying this rain. So, the another thing is nurture's guidance repeatedly advises the human being to observe the phenomena of nature to arrive at reality. So that's another verse. If you look at الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. So sitting, standing, قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا, sitting, وَعَلَى جَانِبِهِمْ, lying on the side, that is sleeping. If you are doing zikr all the time, and then think يَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, Allah creation, about creation, And then if you feel, and if you of course pray that ma khalaqta hadha batil, and you never created anything for no reason, right? Subhanaka fakina azab an-nar. Allah will save us actually from the fire. So basically, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this is what we have to do. And also later in that verse is saying that ulil albab, the people of insight. So you want to become a person to center yourself, you need to become people of insight. So to become people of insight, you have to do this. يذكرون الله قياما قعودا وجنوبهم وعلى جنوبهم. In this three state of your condition, you need to do zikir. Otherwise, and also you need to do fikir. Otherwise, you cannot be people of love, people of insights. And also here, another verse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ عِبْرَةً لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ أولي الألباب ما كان حديثا يفترى ولكن تصديق الذي بين يديه وتفصيل كل شيء وهدى ورحمة للقوم يؤمنون. Indeed, in the stories of these men, there is a lesson for those who are endowed with insight, and for this revelation could not possibly be a discourse invented by men. Nay, indeed, it is a divine deed confirming the truth of whatever there still remains of earlier revelations, clearly spelling out everything, offering guidance and grace to the people who will believe. So if you want to be a believer, if you want to center yourself, then you need to search this creation where Allah has spelled out everything. And in Quran it's saying that. So Huda, if you are seeking Hidayat guidance, you need to look for sign. And sign you can see inside and outside. And this is where I was telling Ibn Muscawiyah. So his book Tahzib al-Akhlaq, and he's saying an obligation incumbent on those who seek to preserve a balanced, centered self is to apply themselves to gaining theoretical as well as practical knowledge, a duty which they should not under any circumstances be allowed to neglect, so that it may serve the self just as physical exercise is pursued to preserve the health of the body. Physicians ascribe great importance to exercise in the preservation of the health of the body. So if you want to health of the body, you have to do exercise. Same way, if you want to serve the self, you need knowledge, gaining knowledge. So you can't sit idle. Physicians of the self attribute even greater importance to it. This is Ibn Maskawiyya continuing, is saying that preservation of healthy self, for when the self ceases to speculate and loses the power of thought and of deep searching for meanings. So if you stop doing that, it becomes dull. So your brain will be dull, you will become stupid and devoid of substance of all positive traits. So your positive traits will disappear, basically. So if it becomes accustomed to laziness, shuns reflection and chooses to remain idle, it draws near to destruction, because by this idleness it casts off its particular form and returns to the rank of beasts. So you will be beast without knowledge, without any self-esteem, without any wisdom, and without any courage. You will be a beast. You'll be a beast, just like an animal. So yes, attaining moral balance, you must have to do it. So Ibn Muscawiyya continues, should those who are seeking to preserve this healthy, centered self, the centered self, the balanced self, the one I was saying, showing the diagram, we at the 0 point, become unique and eminent in knowledge, then not their pride. Let not their pride in what they have achieved cause them to cease to seek beyond. This is for ulama. If you develop pride because you think you are very knowledgeable, then you will ruin yourself as well. So that's another situation, over wisdom, hypocrisy, pride is another one. So that will actually, lust, anger, greed, attachment, pride, jealousy. That is the sixth enemy of the heart. That's the thing. If you are seeking knowledge and at one stage you think you know quite a lot, and then you feel proud of it, you ruin yourself. You cease to seek beyond, for knowledge has no limit. And above every human being of knowledge, there is one who knows. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. So that's why Allah taught Prophet Rabbi Jidni Alma. This is why always we are supposed to seek increase me in knowledge. Let them not be too lazy to review what they have learned and perfected by studying it further, for forgetfulness is the bane of learning. Let them remember the words of Al Hasan al Basri, very beautiful saying, curb yourself, control, restrain yourself, for it is inquisitive. Okay, inquisitive, and polish it, for it quickly become rusty. So if you don't polish it, it will be rusty. That is the important part of it. So yourself will be rusty if you don't polish it, and it is inquisitive. That's why, of course, you restrain it, but not stop it. Basically, keep searching for gaining knowledge. And if this is another thing, seeking within, not without. This is the gaining knowledge. So he's saying that you seek knowledge from your own self, and this is a very beautiful text. Again, let those who are seeking to preserve a healthy self realize that by so doing, that indeed preserving noble blessing, these these are bestowed upon them treasures treasures hidden within them, or like splendid garments which which are put on them. Let them realize also that if one who possesses such sublime blessings within their self are not obliged to seek these blessings from outside, not to pay money to others for their sake, not to endure hardship and burdensome troubles in their pursuit. You see, don't have to spend a lot of money. If they then shun and neglect them to the point of overlooking them, they indeed will deserve blame for their action and will show poor judgment. They will prove to be neither wise nor successful. Moral seekers should realize this fact as they observe how the pursuers of external goods venture on far and perilous journeys, travel frightful and rugged roads, and expose themselves to all kinds of dangers and possibilities of destruction of, by beasts of prey and wicked aggressors in order to attain material goods. In most cases, even after undergoing all these horrors, such people fail. They may suffer excessive repentance and great sorrow, which stifles their breath and severs the members of their body. And even if they attain one of their desires, it may be lost quickly or be exposed to loss. It holds no hope of permanence, since it is external. It is external. What is external to us cannot be secure against the innumerable accidents which affect it. At the same time, its owner is in a state of intense fear, constant anxiety, and weariness of body and of the self, trying to keep what can in no way be kept, and to watch over something where watchfulness is of no avail. That means he's saying that don't seek money, seek knowledge. Because if you seek money, so many enemies will come and they will try to take it away from you. And by fear of losing, you will never ever, able to accumulate it. So rather, you accumulate knowledge which will help you to securely keep it, and of course it will never be lost. Nobody can attack it, take it from you. So that's what this particular passage so beautifully said. So I think I have almost covered, only 15 minutes left. So I will not finish today actually this chapter. So maybe I'll continue and next week. So Donna, many thanks for listening. And
You,
if you have any
Noor?
question, yeah.
Yes,
Mm,
yes. I have many notes.
mm,
I've written them down.
mm.
If you have time, maybe we can go to them one by one, if you do
Yes,
not
yes.
mind.
Let's go through them, and
Okay,
that will help
okay.
me, and I
Yeah,
appreciate it that you have taken notes and
okay.
suggestions. Yeah,
All right. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. First of all, thank you so much. This was very beneficial.
Mm,
I want to go back from the beginning. There
mm,
were two words,
mm.
Arabic words which draw my attention. The word, and you referred to them from one of them from Al Quran, from a verse, Rana.
Ah, okay.
Rana.
Mm,
Yes. So Rana also is like covered, you know.
mm,
So you
mm,
were using two verses.
mm,
One is mentioning the word ghita, and the
mm,
other one is rana.
mm.
So in Arabic, we say rana in the meaning of, like, for example, rana alayhi nu'as, which means he was overcome with sleep, or sleep overtook him or
Oh,
covered him.
okay.
So rana in a way has the meaning of covering as well.
Covering.
I
Oh,
just
that's lovely. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Mm,
It's more of overtaken something,
mm.
which in a way it is covering it.
Yeah. So, yeah, but of course, as you know, the example
Mm.
I gave it from Surah Mutaffifin is,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
is basically,
Rana,
mm,
yes, it
is a
means
bad
that they
deed.
were
Yeah, bad deed is causing him.
overtaken.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. They were overtaken with that. They were covered completely with that.
Mm,
Okay. Now, another word, which is a very important word, Al
mm,
Ghazali mentioned it, and I will refer to Al Hawa.
Al-Hawa,
So,
yeah. Mm,
yes, Al Ghazali says Al Hawa wal Hawiya. So,
yeah.
Al Hawa is more of, yani, it's deeper than passions.
Mm,
It goes into the soul inclination towards something.
mm,
So you would have hawan, like
mm,
tendency, or
mm.
you lean towards something. It is in a way your tendency.
Are you
So
there?
it's it's
Yeah.
it's
Mm.
deeper than passions.
Deeper
This
than
is
passion.
just
So, yeah, Hawa. Okay, that's
Ec-
good then.
yes,
Mm.
it's more of inclination. It's your
Inclination. Yeah.
drifting. Yes, it's your drifting, the self drifting towards something.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So it,
Basically,
mm,
if we
mm,
overdo passions, which is of course
mm,
we need
mm,
passions to keep us motivated.
mm, mm,
But
mm,
if we ask too much of it, then we are overtaken by
mm,
it. Yeah.
mm, mm.
Mm,
Yes, and then I would like to move to the next part, and I have a question for you from your studies of the Enneagram. And
mm.
you mentioned that we have to check the emotions. And you
Yes.
mentioned that Ashab al-Saffa,
Mm,
checking the outside, the
mm,
macrocosm and the microcosm. And so, in your opinion,
mm,
what signs, for example, if I'm living in a place, now checking the outside, the nature, now what signs like dust, a bad storm, a sign of something happening, not only on my inner,
mm,
is the malakut as well,
mm,
something happening on the angelical level.
mm.
For example, lightning. Would lightning mean on the angelical level, doors are opened and closed? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't
I'm
know,
just
but
يعني
but
wondering.
but of course, it's not that um, this location of moon versus sun versus you know the way the four season comes because of the
Mm,
position of Earth on this on the orbit of the sun because
mm,
Earth is rotating around the sun. So if it is on the top quadrant,
mm,
Australia get summer, and then if it is on the bottom quadrant, Australia gets winter. Yeah,
mm,
mean, depending on
mm,
where the Earth is around the sun,
mm,
right? So the way the season changes, same way that change of season has an effect on our soul. Change of season, change of day and night, change of
mm, mm,
tidal waves when sea is rising, sea is falling. That has a connection to our blood pressure, right? And
mm,
then it has a connection to our heartbeat. It has a connection to our emotion. So
mm,
that's why, and also the situation in the world nowadays, it's a global one globe, right?
mm,
What's
mm,
happening in Palestine is hurting us. So how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? And
mm,
how do you
mm,
manage your emotion, how you manage your motivation, how you manage your um, you know negativity not to capture you. So that's why you needed to look outward and
mm,
then adjust your barometer.
mm, mm.
Yeah,
But this is still at the physical level. Even my blood and heart and bones and the mountains, the storm, whatever.
yeah.
But what about the metaphysical level?
Metaphysically, you don't have to see those as a sign because you will only dream gives you information. If you see a
Mm,
storm in the dream, that may be related to your message for your soul. If you see a moon is giving you something, a rain is giving you something in the dream, those has message for your soul, soul's journey, soul's various problem you are working on, those sort of things. You will find at the end of
mm,
there is a slide I have found.
mm,
It's saying that in view of Jalaluddin Rumi, once the moral seeker
mm,
consciously expresses the intention to move towards centering or takes action to move towards the positive
mm,
dispositions of the self, every thought that occurs to him or her is a message from the divine assistance,
mm,
calling
mm,
for deep deliberation and dutiful response. So if a
mm,
mu'min, if a believer, if a moral seeker
mm,
consciously did a intention, the niyyah, and then move towards working on his negative
mm,
traits,
mm,
he will be receiving thoughts and guidance. In dream,
mm,
in your thinking, in your meditation,
mm,
you will get response.
mm,
That's Jalaluddin Rumi confirming.
mm, mm.
So, so,
So
so,
these
the,
are the signs. Mm,
yeah.
mm.
But most cases, those storms and things, whatever is happening is related to the world, just like
Yes.
is related to the world. Because if you are playing
Mm,
with the industrial waste,
mm,
and then if
mm,
you are hurting the environment will react. Environment will
mm,
react. Just like if you are
mm,
eating poison,
mm,
your body will give up
mm,
functioning,
mm,
right? Or
mm.
if you are slowly killing yourself, you'll be killed,
Yeah.
right? And if you are
Yes.
eating bad foods, you will develop disease. That's natural.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
but you need to know that's why which is full of disease, which is not, which is a good food, which is a bad
Mm,
food. You need to know it.
mm,
And same
mm,
way
mm,
for our soul also, you need to know what is good, what is bad. And that's
Yes.
why people who are doing soul work, they needed to
Mm,
watch all these emotional aspects of it. What emotion
mm,
is more predominant in you throughout the day? What emotion is
mm,
more predominant with you? Yeah, when you are sleeping,
mm,
when you are waking, when you are during the morning, when during in the evening, you needed to
mm,
watch yourself. And there I have actually again
mm.
Kutul Kulub Abu Talib al-Makki. He mentioned that
Yes,
six
yes, I
six
know the book. Mm,
yeah. So he mentioned the
mm,
six thoughts and impressions are recommended to be noted
mm,
down
mm,
by the
mm,
moral
mm,
seeker. He's saying that thoughts of physical needs, thoughts of persons considered to be enemies, thoughts of
mm,
spirit, thoughts of angels, thoughts of cognitive system, including reason, free will, conscience, and intuitive, directly experienced thoughts. So all these
mm,
thoughts, what is predominant in you? Are you when you
mm.
wake up, are you thinking of Allah or you are thinking of who enemy who will steal your money? If you
Yeah.
wake up, as soon as you wake up, what thought came in? You needed to notice it. If you're thinking
Mm,
bad things all the time, that means your heart is
mm,
corrupted. But if you are doing, if you are
mm,
thinking positive, that's good, right? And then you
mm.
do shukr, those sort of things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If I can, in a way, draw connection,
Mm.
and I was interested to learn that Lala Bhakti referred to Ibn Miskawayh. I think Ibn Miskawayh and Tahdib al-Akhlaq is a very, very important book, and I think it opens for many research and studies. I am really interested when you mentioned that she has referred to Ibn Miskawayh. Ibn Miskawayh is a very important scholar who really worked on the Tazkiyatun Nafs. What he did in his book is amazing. He used philosophy and mantiq, but his aim, as you mentioned, we can say in a way he's Sufi.
Yeah. Can I
His
show
aim was
you?
the soul.
Can I show you? I
Yeah, I
am not.
have the book.
Okay. Now, can you tell me?
Mm,
Because
mm.
you are Arabic native speaker, so
Yes.
can you tell me these four items? This fadail allati tahatal.
تحت العفة الفضائل التي تحت الشجاعة
This
فضائل
afa. This is
التي
afa. What is afa mean?
العفة
Alafa
العفة yes العفة
is
I
the
think the
temperance
best
or
no no no
self-esteem.
لا 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 no العفة is virtue.
Virtue. Oh, it's a virtue. Tahatal
Yes,
afa. Okay.
yes,
Alafa.
virtue.
And then shuja is
Yes,
of course
شجاعة
courage.
courage.
And then
سخاء generosity.
generosity. Oh,
العدالة yes السخاء العدالة is justice.
okay. So I was just thinking because he did mention hikmah, so wisdom,
Mm,
and then
mm,
courage and shuja. I was looking
yes.
for the third item, whether
Mm,
he got all these three items from
mm,
Ibn
yeah,
Mashkawi.
yeah. Mm. Well, I think he is in a way was he took some from Aristo. From
Okay,
Aristo. Yeah, he
okay.
was influenced a lot. This is what I've read somewhere,
Mm,
but he did a very important book. Like, for example, if you want to study ethics,
mm.
you go study Aristo, and for Islamic philosophy, Ibn Miskawayh is your destination for ethics.
Oh, that's good then.
Yes.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So
So
do you know whether this book has any English translation?
Uh, I don't know. I have it in Arabic. I'm not
Okay,
sure. But
okay.
at one point, I
Mm,
took a course.
mm.
Ibn Miskawayh was there in terms of ethics and the soul in that.
Oh,
So, yeah,
so
yeah,
so you
yeah.
attended a
We
course.
can, yeah, we can do, we can, but Ibn Miskawayh was among other scholars. The
Okay,
course was not focusing on Ibn Miskawayh alone, but was focusing on ethics. And Ibn Miskawayh studied ethics from a soul perspective,
okay.
like Bhakti Lala is doing,
That's
not
very good.
from, and like Ibn al Arabi is doing, not from ethics for everyday life, but
Mm,
from ethics from the perspective of the governance of your divine soul and body,
okay, okay.
like what we are doing now with Ibn Arabi. Now, for if I understood correctly, and what she was trying to draw, Bhaktilala, is that the numbers in the Enneagram and the lines are in constant movement. And it's very
Yes.
interesting because when you
Yeah.
see a line, you think it is fixed.
No,
But
it is
what the
not. Even the
Enneagram, it
circle,
is
even
not
circle as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the idea for me when you were presenting is that, and I want to put it for discussion and maybe just contemplation, is that the emotions are not fixed like the lines. So we
Exactly.
are in constant change.
Yes.
The soul, for me, the soul might be in a fixed state because it's from Amru Rabbi. The self is in constant change. No, if we want to do tahzibun nafs, in order for the soul, the constant thing, the basaruhu hadid, the center, the justice, the centered self to appear. Is that what I'm understood from Bhaktilala, what she is trying to explain?
Yes, as you see here, she drew 64 possible moral balance and imbalance diagram in this
Mm.
book. And look at see how various imbalance and balances changes the diagram. I mean, various
Mm.
conditions, and she has remedy for each of the items.
Yeah.
And if you look
Well,
at
yeah,
this dictionary,
yeah. This
he
is beautiful.
she
Yeah.
actually say, for example, undeveloped temperance, and these are the backbiting NBS, and she has this
Mm.
um, treatment plan, how you treat it. Okay,
Mm.
and then
Yes, yes,
this
yes.
is a brief, but if you go to her chat GPT, there is her daughter actually prepare a
Mm.
subset of it. So, and if you ask the
Mm.
question,
Mm.
it will actually show you what action to
Yeah.
take. For example, for apathy, I
Mm.
did a search
Mm.
in that,
Mm.
and then it says that what are the things you have to do. He's saying you're
Yeah.
noticing apathy in yourself. Try a brief fixed daily ritual, 1 minute of silent zikir, micro task of
Mm.
service, holding a
Mm.
door,
Mm.
smiling at
Mm.
someone,
Mm.
channeling one of the each evening. Today I turn towards God, and then she puts lots of suggestion. How you
Yeah.
fix? How do you fix it?
Mm.
So
Mm.
so those
Mm.
sort of things. Yeah, what I'm saying is it's really
Yeah.
rich. It's very rich and
Mm.
useful things. But it's
Yes.
just sad that not many people. We have almost 132 members in that group, WhatsApp group.
Mm.
But look
Mm.
at not many people attended. Yeah, maybe it's my
Yeah.
failure to I didn't we
No,
encouraged
it's okay.
because I thought
At
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 least
at least at
Mhm.
least they can watch the video. At least
Yes,
they can
that's good.
watch the
That's
video.
good anyway.
And my last remark, and thank you for your patience with me,
Mm.
but this is actually my last remark. It's
Mm.
about the word abban.
Ah, Zan,
And
yeah,
yes, and you use the word conjecture,
yeah.
and I would prefer assumptions more or doubts because I want to take you the word azan in Arabic, and you might be surprised now.
Okay, tell me.
In the Quran, in the verse, if you looked at the verse,
Mm.
this is the beauty of Quran.
Mm.
In the same verse, there are two words used.
Mm.
There is a zan for people,
Mm.
and there is al-alim for al-haq
Okay, yeah.
in the same verse.
Okay,
But what is surprising is that azan carries the meaning of also certainty.
certainty,
Exactly.
certainty.
So
Oh. Mm.
azan carries four mean, very carries opposites,
Mm.
like you have assumptions or you're
Okay.
assuming or
Mm.
doubts. And the word azan, you can use it as the same time, you can say azan to mean that you have certainty, you being certain, you have no doubts. So in Quran, if you go and look, Al-Haq himself sometimes says and expresses a word as-zan to himself. But when he uses az-zan for himself, he means that this is certainty. There is no doubt of that.
Yeah, but of course, when you are doing zan, he's saying husnul zan, not the zan the other way.
Yes, but
Husnul
here,
zan. They say for example,
yes,
that's Hadith
but
Qudsi that ana and the zanne be abde bi. I conform
yes,
to the my servants zan, but of
yes,
course husnul
ana and
zan.
the husn dhan, exactly.
Yes, yeah.
He is here not assuming exact, but take out husn, take out
Mm,
the word husn.
mm,
Like for example, أَيَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ,
mm.
which means they are very certain.
Ah,
It's
okay.
not they are assuming they are running away from God or they can escape from the haq.
Mm,
It means they were very certain. Those people, because the Quran expresses things very, how can I say that? Very, very, يعني it's very not detailed also, but without any dhan,
mm,
without any assumptions. So when Al-Quran mentions that they يظنون أنهم, for example, they think they can escape judgment or they escape laha, it means that those people, they were completely, so they are on the part of the Enneagram, we're on number 6 or 7
mm,
from the self-esteem, where
mm.
the zan is not only assumptions and doubts, but a zan is a certainty there.
Okay, that's a very good
Explain
perspective.
correctly.
Yeah, many thanks, many thanks. But this conjecture word is actually I haven't used it. It's used by Lale Bhakhti. That's why I wrote it that way.
Ah,
So, but of course,
yeah,
even the translation of
it's a good word.
Asad's
Yeah,
translation,
yeah,
Muhammad Asad translation, he also put conjecture.
yeah.
So it matched with what Lale Bhakhti
Mm.
used. So that's why, yeah. Anyway, maybe I will look into more, but
Yeah.
it didn't
I tell you,
contradict
I
though.
tell you,
Mm, mm, mm,
it doesn't. But what I want to say
mm,
is that because in Arabic, I went to the Arabic
mm,
the dictionary,
mm,
not the English translation, because azan, because the verse is very important. The verse that you have put, if you
mm,
go back to it, you will see in the same verse you
mm.
will have a dhan and then you will have al alim.
Alim, yeah, you were right.
And these are, yes, exactly. And at the same time, you can read in the Quran where there is this certainty in the zan.
Okay.
And then if you think of the Ainagram,
Mm,
and as you mentioned in your lecture today, if you have a lot of self-esteem,
mm,
this means you're going towards I don't know, more ego, you'll have more ego,
yeah.
and this is not the balance that we want. This is not the justice. This is not the center that we want. So
Yes, yes.
azan, in a way, even as a word, it would have a balance between assumption and certainty. So
Mm,
even words carry balance.
mm,
This is the
mm.
beauty of it. So a word itself, it has a balance of both.
Balanced. Mm.
And yeah, and thank you so much for today's lecture. I don't want to keep you late,
No, I
and
really
we'll see you,
appreciate it. Yeah.
inshallah.
You made
Yeah,
me at least successful today because if no one attended, I
it's
could have
okay.
just, yeah. So Alhamdulillah,
Yeah,
yeah, I am blessed that you came.
yeah.
So
Thank you so much,
yeah,
and we'll see
thank
you,
you.
inshallah, in next lecture.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Assalamu
thank you,
alaikum wa
thank you.
rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam.